Welcome to Open Book, a production of EPTV and brought to you by Ellysian Press. I'm joined today by my partner, Jen Ryan, by Joe Murphy, who is our editor and in-house cover designer, Danielle DeVore, who is our editorial assistant, and by some of our absolutely fabulous writers, including John T. Poindexter, Luann Carroll, Mac Little, S.A. Larson, and Agnes Jane. Did I miss anybody? I think I got us all. Music on shuffle. Sean, do you want to lead us into this one?
Absolutely. Well, music is an extremely important part of my life, and it's also an extremely important part of my writing. I like to leave my music on, and the reason why I named this Music on Shuffle is because when I play my music, I have a vast musical library, and I put it on shuffle. And I have a lot of songs, and they influence the writing to some degree at least. It helps a lot, and it kind of separates me from the rest of the world and puts me in the world of the book. One of the things I enjoy doing with my books, and I'm not able to share these because it actually costs money to share things like this, and I don't really have a lot of that, is I like to make a playlist for a book, because every once in a while I'll have fans talk about music, and I'll say, well, you know, I made a playlist for this book, and I'll share it with them. I just list the songs, and they can find all the songs on YouTube. There are different ways of making a playlist for your book as a promotional tool to give people something to listen to that makes them think of the book. 3 songs that are for the overall book. The first song is for the first act of the book, if we're looking at books cinematically. The second song is the theme of the second act of the book, and then of course the third song is the song for the third act. And these would also go in the playlist as the first song, the middle song, and the last song. Then you go through, and there may be a couple of subplots that have their own kind of theme song, a song that, I guess the cheapest way to look at it is, if this were a movie, what song they might play in the movie for that part of it. So to give you an example of a third act song in one of my books, The Shadow of Tiamat, when Meg and Garrett, enter the third act, where they're in the process of coming back together, and then there's this really big badass dragon fight, and a bunch of other stuff happens. And I have a song I kind of have a strange obsession with cover songs, where you take older songs and then have a newer group do them. So the song I have for the third act is Wicked Game, which was originally a Chris Isaak song, but my favorite version of it is done by a band called Him. And it's kind of a heavier, more metal feel to the song. So it kind of fits the excitement and the high energy of the book and of the third act, because you have the major dragon battle between the two main opposing dragons of that particular book. It's a great song. It's one of my favorite songs, even the original version of it. There's lots of groups that do it, and it's a great song for any kind of forlorn love theme in a book. Once you have the 3 acts represented by song, you might have a couple of subplots that are fairly important. You can include a song for each of those, and then a song for each of the characters. And these usually need to be main characters. So for the Shadow of Tiamat, and for main characters, they can have more than one song. So for the Shadow of Tiamat, Garrett has 1 or 2 songs. Meg has 3 songs. They have a song of them together. Other characters in the book get songs, like Anaya gets a song, Sadie gets a song. I didn't give Max a song, but he has his own book later, so he gets all the songs he wants then. So once you have this playlist and people ask about it, you can create a playlist on YouTube of these songs, if you can find all the songs on YouTube. Some of the things I listen to are kind of obscure, but I can usually find them on YouTube. And then create a playlist of it and use that as a promotional tool for your book, because you'll attract 2 kinds of people with that. One kind of person is the person who hasn't ever heard of your books but knows those songs, And when they go on YouTube searching for that song, they find out it's attached to a list about your book. And then they listen to the other songs and they think, I really want to check out this book. Second is for people who are already into your book and want to discover the characters more in depth. Now they've got these songs and melodies to do that with. So, or if you want, you can buy the software that allows you to make recording, make playlists to share with people. I think you can make a playlist on iTunes and buy it to give to people. I'm not sure. I've never done that. At least there used to be a way to do that.
I think you can do it on SoundCloud.
On what? Yeah, if you can find the songs on SoundCloud, you can do it there too. But once you have your playlist, there you go. You've got something to share with people that adds depth to the characters. When you're giving away these songs, you might run afoul of some of the musicians. So, they usually don't care. The bigger name ones care. Like the ones who are signed by Disney or Sony, they care. But most of the bands I listen to aren't signed by big label names, so they're just happy that somebody's sharing their music. Whatever you do, don't ever try to sell the playlist, because you don't own the songs. You can buy it and give it away. You can share it on YouTube. You can even write a list of the songs on your blog, but don't ever sell it. You do not have the right to do that, and the big companies will come down on you for that. Like when the guy at the movie theater comes in and there's a Disney film on and he says, if we see a single cell phone out, we're going to confiscate it and call Disney. Yeah, they'll do that. So it's the same thing here. If you're making money off, and also it's just stealing. If you're making money off of, off of somebody else's music that they could sell. So, but that's how you do that. That's how I do it. I've got several songs for different books. For my book, Exiles of Forlorn, the song I Am Dust by Gary Newman captures the feel of the book. Because as best I can tell, the song seems to be about a community or a group of young people who are hiding and waiting for more to come to them and join them. And that's exactly what Exiles of Forlorn is about. Is a large group of young people who go to live on their own outside of the civilization. So it's a great song for that. And I know everyone here and everyone watching has great songs that they associate with their books. And it's a lot of fun to share those. So.
Yeah. I took it to, I think, the nth degree in my memoir, because I literally put each section has music to it in their subtitle. I've got the songs, but I did that because the book is The Other Side of Philip K. Dick, and it's my book is a story of our relationship for 10 years, and one of the big things that connected us as friends initially was music, because we were generations apart. He was over 25 years older than me, so we had nothing in common, and where we met was music. So I used music to frame my entire book. So my book is literally not just music I listened to while writing it, because I listened to a lot of 70s songs. So I was on YouTube scouring for 70 songs just to write it, to put myself back into the 1970s and recall that, because that's going back a little ways to try to capture that flavor of what I was doing. So for me, music was an enormous part of that book. But I can't usually listen to songs when I'm writing, or I'll start typing the lyrics in, which is not good when you're trying to write a book. So I tend to use instrumentals only when I'm actually writing. But for that particular book, I did go back and listen to actual songs rather than instrumental pieces. Who else writes to music?
I write paranormal fantasies for the most part, or urban fantasies, depending on how you want to place them. But I prefer things, again, like everybody else is saying, things that kind of put you into the scene in the moment. If you have a fight scene, you obviously want something that moves. If you've got a love story, you want something maybe a little slower. For me, that helps me draft the pacing of the story, because I find when you're in the middle of the fight scene, you want short sentences, and you want to really dig into the action and be really snappy with your dialogue and things like that. And I find the higher paced music helps me write in a way that's more effective. And I also, it also makes you read the scene faster too as a reader. So
we haven't gotten to this book yet, but in the series, but eventually there's going to be a climactic battle between dragons and vampires and soldiers and aircraft and all sorts of insane things at the end of the book. So I'm not really spoiling anything. That happens. Not in any of the books that are out, but it's coming. There's even a submarine involved. It's pretty awesome. And then, so to listen to that, to do that, there are like kind of warrior songs that I like. Like I had like a little list of them, and I put them on a loop in the Shadow of Tiamat, where Garrett and Zayas have a little discussion in a bar in human form, and also outside the bar. And it's a pretty good song, because the song is basically about starting a fight in a bar. And that's exactly what Garrett does. He walks into a bar and starts a fight with another dragon.
Well, I'm kind of like you, where it all depends. Well, because I write middle grade as well, so that also does make a difference. What I'm going to listen to. Middle grade that I write is like fantasy adventures, so it's sometimes a lot more like harder rock music and metal, that kind of stuff. I still, for my YA, for like the paranormal or the romance and urban fantasy, still, I listen to some harder stuff, but I do listen to a lot of classical music. Like normally out of my realm, I'm like stuck in the 80s. But yeah, I listen to a lot of classical. Sometimes I also listen to the rain. I have all these different, recordings of like ocean
Sound
waves.
effects?
Yes, yeah, I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Joe, what about you when you write? Because Joe is not just a cover artist and an editor, he is also an author in his own right. What do you do when you write?
I actually listen to a lot of soundtracks, so I'm obsessed with movie soundtracks. And the nice thing about that is you can quickly find something that is aimed at your scene. So if you're writing an action film, again, look at a current action film that's kind of in your genre, and I listen to the music for that. But I do agree that you should listen to music that is appropriate for your scene. Probably not, War or Marilyn Manson when you're writing romance. That probably won't work.
Danielle, Luann?
I don't listen to music while I write. I'm weird. I listen to silence when I write, but I edit to music. And so I try to choose a lot of really fast, hard things while I edit, so that I'll auto-edit faster.
It has to be dead quiet for me. I don't like to have any music at all or any sound. And part of that is because even if there is stuff going on around me, I tune it out, because I'm only concentrated on what's going on inside my head.
Fabulous. Great
Yeah.
segment, Sean. Thank you for that. Thanks for joining us, and tune in next time on Open Book.